CNN blamed by Biden family for Joe's poor debate showing. They said makeup made Biden look pale and pallid. Now, when you go blaming other people and making excuses, you've already lost. But I guess they're trying to save some kind of face. I really don't know. Again, we know Biden really had no business being out there in the first place. The Democrats pushing him. That's the Democrat puppet. He's not really running the show. We don't know who's running the show. But we're going to talk a little bit about all of that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, this comes from the Gateway Pundit's Kristen Taylor, and she reports that the Biden family and staff members are casting blame on CNN for Joe Biden's poor performance in his debate with President Trump in Atlanta last Thursday. According to reports, Biden appeared frail, dazed, confused, and had trouble speaking lucidly and completing thoughts while allegedly suffering from a cold. But CNN is being attacked for making Biden look pale and pallid. Are you for real? Oh my gosh, they're really reaching. Biden has set the terms of the debate. Little pushback from Trump, who had been demanding a debate with Biden anytime, any place. Biden had CNN host the debate in late June rather than in the traditional fall campaign season, demanded no audience and a mute button for Trump. Trump showed up and Biden got humiliated on national television in a debate that was meant to reset the presidential campaign in Biden's favor, but ended up imploding it. As the shock of Biden's poor performance settled in, recriminations started to appear in the press, with several members of Biden's senior staff being blamed for over-prepping him during his week-long retreat at Camp David, while CNN also came in for heavy criticism for its conduct of the debate. I thought CNN handled it fairly well, to be honest with you. Only people that's upset are the people that's upset that Biden looked like an idiot, and you can't blame CNN for that. Most interestingly, CNN is being blamed for making Biden, who reportedly showed up with a summer tan, look pale on camera from the makeup applied by the network staff. The New York Times and Politico reported on the attacks on CNN. But I don't know anyone that was like really paying attention who really cares about how pale he was or not. That wasn't any of the criticisms I've heard of Biden was, oh my God, he looked pale. We were talking about the substance and how he talked and how he walked and things like that. But anyway, New York Times said members of Mr. Biden's family were likewise said to be focused on the president's staff, including Ms. Dunn, a White House senior advisor, and her husband, Mr. Bauer, the president's personal attorney, who played Mr. Trump during the debate rehearsals. They were asking why Mr. Klain, the former White House chief of staff, who ran the preparations, would, in their view, allow him to be overloaded with statistics, and they were angry that Mr. Biden, who arrived for the debate in Atlanta with the summer tan, was made up to look pale and pallid, said one of the people who has been in touch with several members of the family. But again, I don't think anyone criticized how pale he was. And how do you get overloaded with statistics? You can't handle simple numbers and stuff like that. Or, you're the president of the United States. You're supposed to be handling nuclear secrets and stuff like that. You can't handle a few stats. The Politico said, additionally, Biden's campaign staff only grew angrier at CNN as how the debate was run, according to several people familiar with the conversations. Again, they agreed to this. Their complaints were lengthy, including that the moderators should have fact-checked Trump more often. Why? That's not a debate. If the moderator is not there to fact-check, the moderator is supposed to allow both of them to argue their points. but that Biden was not told which camera he'd be on when not speaking, and that the makeup staff made him appear too pale, according to 3 people. Biden did, however, agree to the terms of the debate before it was held, and that's what I was just alluding to. A post a post complaining about CNN's visual treatment of Biden went viral after the debate, where nearly 6 million views on Twitter. The post was by Stephanie Winston Walkoff, a former advisor to Melania Trump, who betrayed her confidence by releasing recordings of conversations and publishing a book that nobody really read or cared about. She said, no one had to say a word. CNN's carefully considered framing and lighting design effectively conveyed the intended perceptions of fragility versus dominance in visual composition. Biden was filmed in profile, looking pale as a ghost. Trump was filmed straight on, not looking his, I don't know what the rest of it said. Well, body language expert Joe Navarro wrote an analysis of the candidates' appearances in Politico, contrasting Trump's tan, healthy appearance with that of Biden. Again, these are like political types that care about that stuff. The mainstream average person didn't care about the color of the skin. We want to know about the substance and could they handle themselves and speak, which Biden could not. But they say Trump's tan made Biden look pale. The first thing I noticed about Trump was his tan. You might think that sounds superficial, but appearances can make a big difference. Just think of how disheveled Richard Nixon looked, with the 5 o'clock shadow, lack of makeup, and pale complexion, next to a young tan makeup wearing senator named John F. Kennedy in the first televised debate in 1960. In a similar way, Biden looked white as a sheet next to a sun-kissed Trump. Humans naturally into it health, vitality, and energy in a tan face. It was another indicator that Biden appeared somewhat frail. What can I even say about Biden's body language? It goes on to say, I have watched Biden since the early 90s, and this is the most stoic I have ever seen him. He was still as a statue at times, especially in the first 40 minutes or so. His lack of movement was especially striking next to Trump, who drew the viewer's eye with dynamic hand motions and aggressive finger pointing that emphasized his arguments, making him appear much more energetic. I often say that body language speaks volumes. It does, but Biden's volume was full of blank pages. Sure, it might be because he wanted to be respectful and listen intently, but it could also be because as we age, our gestures become more economical. Biden's nonverbal communication did nothing to counter the narrative that his age is catching up to him. So I think that's right on. I think that's absolutely true. And I look a lot at body language and things like that in my private practice when I see clients. You notice sometimes you can notice a lot through the nonverbals. And so I do agree with that. You say a lot with your body language. But as far as the whole looking pale thing, you won't talk to anybody on the street and be like, oh my God, you see how pale Joe Biden looked. We will talk about how frail he looked, when he was walking and stuff. We'll talk about the lack of body language and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, reports state that Biden family led by Hunter does not want Joe to drop out. And I did a whole video on that. Next debate, they might want to hire a funeral director to do Joe's makeup. They know how to make stiffs look lively. Yeah, if there even will be a big next debate, even if Joe Biden won't get Das Boot from the Democrat Party and replaced by somebody else, and would it be good for Trump to even agree to do a second debate? Would it be even worth it? Because he got so much off of this last debate. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.